Joel Rosenberg has written several gripping political thrillers, and most of them dealt with radical Islam. But his latest book takes on a different threat to the U.S. and the West, Russia. Take a look.
Joel Rosenberg has done it again. His newest political thriller, The Kremlin Conspiracy, feels ripped from tomorrow's headlines. With an American president distracted by North Korea and Iran, a czar is rising in Russia with a brazen plan that threatens NATO and could draw the U.S. into nuclear war. The Kremlin Conspiracy, from New York Times bestselling author Joel C. Rosenberg.
I see in Vladimir Putin a czar rising again. I don't see Putin as a communist, though he was raised and trained in the KGB in the communist Soviet era. But this is not a communist ideologue. He's not a Marxist-Leninist. He's a czar. He sees himself as part of the monarchy, expanding the borders of Russia to recapture territory that was, from our perspective, liberated from the Soviet Union when the Soviet Union collapsed. And he wants to restore the glory of Mother Russia. That's his stated intent. It just means he's starting to invade and terrorize his neighbors, and I think the worst is yet to come.
Now, last week, Vladimir Putin gave a speech where he talked about Russia's nuclear arms buildup. So how serious of a threat is that?
Yeah, not just a buildup. He's saying, and we'll see if it's verified over time, he's saying that Russia has new first strike nuclear long-range missiles that can completely evade NATO and American air defenses.
Do you believe that?
I don't know. The man's a liar.
Is he boasting?
He's a liar, but he's also somebody who is rebuilding the Russian military. He is modernizing it. Why? For the very reasons I said, because he's trying to both seize and bully and control his neighbors. And in the novel, this Russian dictator, which is not Putin, but let's call him Putin-esque, okay? In other words, you'll get a whiff of where Putin is heading, but I do it in a fictional way.
Does he ride around with his shirt off?
Well, I didn't go that far.
No,
that was too grisly an image. I couldn't pull that off. And,
yes.
But the fictional leader in this novel is planning a lightning-fast strike on 3 NATO allies, the Baltic states, Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania. Why? They're small countries. They're not well defended by NATO, fewer than 5,000 NATO forces combined between the 3 countries. Russia has 100,000 troops on the border. If this Russian leader thinks he can grab one or all of the Baltic states in 96 hours, which I think, based on the experts, one could do, his gamble is, yes, they're NATO members. Yes, they're protected by Article 5, the Mutual Defense Pact, which NATO says if one country is attacked, we'll all come to their defense. But the gamble in the novel is this Russian leader thinks NATO won't do it. The U.S. won't do it. They won't go to war with Russia. They won't risk nuclear war to get back one or more countries that most Americans can't find on a map. Now, you switch away from the novel back to real life. I believe Putin is actually considering this. And it's a nightmare scenario because if we didn't go to war to rescue these countries, these are countries that lived under the slavery of the Soviet evil empire. They are free now. They're democracies. They're free market economies. Christianity flourishes there. But they're at risk. And a novel is a way of sort of raising that people imagining what a worst case scenario could look like.
You get into biblical prophecy here, and what does the Bible say about Russia? How should Christians respond?
Well, as you know, I've been writing about the prophecies of Ezekiel 38 and 39 for many years. This novel doesn't specifically go there, but if you know the prophecies, you'll begin to see how a leader could begin to emerge. But maybe it's not this leader, maybe it's the next leader. There's a couple complications I don't want to mention yet and twists and turns in the novel. But yes, the Bible says that Russia will become a major evil force in the last days before the return of Christ, that Russia and Iran and Turkey will form an alliance against Israel. Well, we're watching Putin build an alliance with those very leaders that the scriptures mention. Now, that doesn't mean that we're not necessarily at the point where the war of Gog and Magog, as it's called, is going to happen soon. But I don't know that we can rule it out either. It's a very dangerous situation. I think Putin is more dangerous than radical Islam. I think he is the most dangerous leader on the planet right now. And I'm concerned Washington could get blindsided because their eyes are on so many other topics.
Well, Joel Rosenberg, thanks for joining us today. Always a pleasure.
Great to be with you,
God
Gary.
bless you.
Thank you.